to identify who did it.
So why don't you tell us a little bit more, Ross?
Yeah.
And usually, Dad, I got my Uncle Dan coming in at 11:30 with his big old truck. Dad'll talk a little bit more about it.
Wound up. Oh wait, almost behind the road.
It sharpens iron.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look what I did. 3, 2, 1. Guys, welcome back to Hey, good morning and welcome back to the MacCast. I'm Jason McClellan, joined as always by my brother Ryan and my dad Dan McClellan.
I'm still fired up.
He's still fired up. So we got a lot of good content for you today, we hope, in our opinion at least. We're going to talk a little faith, family football, as we always do in the show. With that being said, there's a lot of exciting stuff going on in the world of football. Why don't we jump into what's happening at Ohio State?
Well, not in football. I think we need to talk about the basketball portion.
Oh, yeah.
With the start off with Ohio State.
March Madness, you know, it's here. I know this week we've been watching it at the office while we're working and stuff, and it's been exciting. We've been watching it. It's been nail biters. The Buckeyes they've been hot,
Playing well, hot late.
down the road, and Bruce Thornton is a stud. Yeah, you know, he kind of
Highlight him.
he's one of those guys that kind of stuck around. You know, he kind of stayed all 4 years and put his time into the program. And now he's one of the legends, Ohio State. He's been racking up on the leaderboard in the Hall of all-time leading scorer in Ohio in the Big Ten tournament. We fell to Michigan, unfortunately.
But he's still a closer spread.
But the spread was like 13.5 points, 14.5 points.
It was a game right down to the last minute.
So for a team that was like 1-7 against Michigan the last 8 games, you know, it was an uphill battle almost. But they had that exciting win the day before, and then they had to turn around and play again against Michigan. Michigan had to bye. I feel like that was a little bit of the favorites. But Ohio State had it down on the wire. And good for them. You know, they finished 21-12. They're probably currently in the last 4 in. They should have they should have a good bid to get in, but
This is the best team they've had in a while, right? It's been a couple of years since we've been in a turn. Even when we make it where it's one and done. So it's like,
it's been a while.
it's been a little bit. You think they got the right coach now?
I think so. I think as a Diebler, I think Coach Diebler is going to be there. It's hard to say where they're going to fall into the March Madness bracket. You know, they're probably an 8 or 9 seed.
Yeah.
Which kind of puts you in a tough situation. You're going to be playing a really good, what would you say, top 5 team in each league, but you're probably going to...
No, is it easily 8 versus 9?
I think so. So you're going to play a very good team usually the 8-9 speed. So we'll see. They still got a couple games left of Big Ten. I think they had... Is it down to the semifinals maybe now? UCLA just...
Yeah, today's last live. Tomorrow's the final.
Yeah, Purdue and Michigan, I think, today. And then UCLA, since it beat Michigan State last night, plays...
Was it Purdue?
Wisconsin.
I have to say Wisconsin.
Wisconsin plays Michigan, and then I think it's Purdue and UCLA. So it's exciting. Big Ten's been really good, and it's been competitive. I mean, March Madness is going to be competitive.
Purdue's got a good squad.
So the Diebler effect is working. It's 7th season, right?
They've been kind of searching for a coach since Miller, right? Don't you think?
Thad Matta has added Matta to me.
Yeah.
I mean, he was
Since him, though.
he was the legend for a while. And this
Since him. Since I'm talking Miller, which
potential matchup here is Villanova, Kentucky, or UCLA.
In the March Madness, is that what they're thinking? Yeah, and those are all good, tough teams, so it's going to be an uphill battle right off the bat for sure. But yeah, I mean, basketball is going on right now.
it's on the rise. The girls have been pretty decent. You're right, strong.
Yeah, it's in the state championship. I think they play here in about...
Seidel's going to Columbus?
down to Wyoming Girls Hall. My God.
No, you're missing. Sorry.
I heard girls basketball, and I thought Strasburg Tiger.
Yeah. They're in the finals today, this morning.
For sure, yeah.
So, but no, I was talking about the girls, the Ohio State Buckeyes team.
Oh, okay.
They've been pretty decent. They've been in there, you know, they get ranked highly every year. They've been solid. And now the boys are looking better.
Yes.
I don't know about you, but the height is a problem. They don't have real tall guys. They don't have a big guy in the middle.
What do you got to say about that, man?
I thought, what about those vertically challenged people?
I mean, because you look at Michigan. Look at the height Michigan had compared to Ohio State, and that's why Ohio State had hard to tackle people because of that.
There.
But they did a much better job in the middle, in the tape, in defense.
And I don't know if that's so much of like in the NBA era, it's a distance thing. You know, if you can hit the long ball, you hit the threes, you're gonna put some points up.
Straight in, so like grabbing the rebound.
But in college has kind of switched that role, and it's kind of way back to it's a tall man's game. You see a lot of these teams, you know, look at Florida. Purdue had that big boy last year. Florida's got a 7-footer. There's a lot of lengthy guys that don't need to jump hardly to be able to dunk or grab a rebound. Yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, it's whoever gets the secondary points and the rebounds is going to win the game more than not. But
the Cavs just lost their game by 2 points, I think.
Last night?
And they lost that. That was up the night before, or the game before. The game that Harden was kind of upset with the call. He would touch the ball and wow about that day. Anyway,
I think I've seen this.
Yes, that game. That was just the game before. Last minutes. But my point being is Allen was out. Their center.
Yeah.
They didn't have any height. They didn't have that height because they got traded to one guy. What was his name? The tall guy. Mobley?
no, yeah, Mobley.
It wasn't Mobley. It was, what was the other guy's name? Anyway, you can tell I'm not a big basketball fan. But without that height, they ended up losing by 2. Not because of the outbounds call. You can't blame, and no sport, because game sports, can you blame the referees for your loss? Because one bad call does not make the difference in the game.
Right.
And you could almost say that there is things that led up to that during the game that you couldn't put yourself in a different situation. Instead of wait till the last minute and being down by 2 and then have to come up with a play to get a 3 to win it, or 2 to go to overtime, you've got plenty of time either come out at halftime and make those adjustments going into the game to keep that from occurring.
But if you're struggling on rebounding during the whole game, that's going to add up. It will add, yeah, for sure. And that's why you only lost by 2, when if you had that, you might have, maybe won by 4 or 6.
Yeah.
Before you move on from basketball, I want to highlight the president, the LSU president, resigned. You guys know any information about that?
Yeah, they hired a new president.
Yeah, they hired, who is he?
Well, I thought it was going to be Jim Tressel. Shout out to Urban Meyer's Triple Option podcast I watched earlier. They were talking about it, but there was another guy. I'm not familiar with who he is, but I know they hired Mudine. So, but.
I mean, is it somebody that can really help the program?
You mean the program of just Ohio State?
And they hired this guy because he was from the SEC.
But it's more
guy that just
what does the president have?
Yeah, like what's
his deal with football and sports? I thought the president
he hires
he hires or fires, I guess. Yes,
but he'll get, like, the president will work with the athletic director. The athletic director says, here, these are coaching candidates that I would like you to review, and then the president decides who to hire and who to fire. You know what I mean? And I know vice, you'd like to have the athletic director and the coach. That, if it's the coach, they're not even talk to him. But you're going to get that production from the president. And the reason they hired, the president actually has a key role. And if they actually hired this one that just resigned because he was from the SEC.
Yeah. So you had to just resign as Tank Carter. Got into a little bit of improving relationships. But then it says here on Thursday when the news came out, the very first thing that President Bellum Conda was doing was shaking Ryan-Bay's hands. So, like, Brian Day was there. He's obviously going to be a big supporter of the current coaching staff. But obviously, the coaching staff, I don't know how you not like the coaching staff for Ohio State right now. I mean, it is extremely impressive as far as NFL experience and
takes. I think Michigan. Remember Michigan hiring the NFL guys?
Yeah.
They started it. Buckeyes said, oh, okay. And then now they're good.
So they extended Matt Patricia.
Yes, they did. It was huge.
And then that was Arthur Smith. Arthur Smith, he's going to be a huge offensive coordinator addition to the. It's just, and then they send this Cortez Hankton from LSU, who's going to be a good wide receiver coach to place.
Yeah, I mean, you look at his resume. He had. It's hard to tell. It's either you talk about Ohio State's receivers in the NFL are the best, or you talk about LSU's. It's very hard to not give him some credit where credit's due for the guys that are producing in the NFL right now. Well, the resume he put out there. Yeah. I mean, he probably have in the top 10, at least 3 of those guys from LSU he coached. So, yeah, I mean, so it's a lot of good things are coming in Ohio State. It's not like they've ever missed a beat either. Yeah. But the office stuff, the Brian Day, he's like the office, is how he talks about his coaching staff is legit.
Yeah, that president was Ravi Conde. He was the
one that he just fired.
Yeah, and he was an executive vice president of the Ford, so he was already on campus. So I should be able to
show your face right now, which is probably a good idea.
And he's
was it a temporary thing, or did they give him a long-term contract? No information.
Said he's officially named the 18th president of the university. So.
I mean, they do a lot more in sports. I'm just highlighting what the president does for sports. Their main objective is education. But sports is very important as well because it brings in a lot of money.
Yeah, it says here he's a neuroscience scientist and a bioengineer. So he's got 11 U.S. patents. So he's super smart, which is good. But, you know, like I said, when they were shaking his hand, that's always a good sign. Odd, like right after he got off the put in there. So that's good.
So he was basically endorsed.
Yeah, I was an eternal hire.
Yeah. So, you know, talking about Ryan Day, think about 2 years ago where Ryan Day was, what level he was at as far as unimpressioned with, because he hadn't beaten Michigan.
Yeah.
And he turns around, not only does he beat Michigan, he wins the national championship. Now look.
Yeah. I mean,
now look at him in his stature.
Speaking of stature, have you seen the pictures of Jeremiah Smith? I haven't seen him. So, dude, he looks like a man. He looks jacked. And then they said babyface can grow a beard. No, that's what the Ohio State players are saying. They're because he showed up with beard, and they're like, "Hey, who is this guy?" And he physically, you can visually see the physique's different. But
this is the year,
stronger, faster. So it's going to be exciting for you.
In my opinion, again, this is the year that I feel that Jeremiah Smith is going to produce. I think my prediction, he'll be in New York.
Why hasn't he been in New York yet?
Because he hasn't done it. He hasn't. Did he hold the NCAA record for anything?
It's hard to compete. It's hard to throw stats out there, and I hate that these awards are about stats.
That's what it comes to.
Now you're saying he's been the best player since he came in his freshman year, and he hasn't been in New York. I mean, that Heisman Trophy is a joke.
Listen, it's not just about stats.
And I'm sure a Heisman candidate winners past would say it's not a joke. It's Chivas reward. I think, well, there's no way.
Look,
it's all about stats.
Look, consider this.
Well, if you want to get in Nissan commercials, you need to win the Heisman.
Yeah.
And then you are set for commercial. You get money.
But I hear this same thing, the same analogy.
That house looks sweet.
Then it shouldn't be on stats. It's really not. What it is, it's you have to split hairs. So you're taking like the 5, just the position. You're taking 5 quarterbacks or maybe 8. And the best 8 by stats. And that's how you figure out which ones should be invited in New York.
So it's all about, in the Heisman.
It's not all about stats. That's how you split hairs. You understand? They still have to play and be extremely good. So when you get those, how do you make a decision on which one was the best? You got to split hairs between these 5 players. In order, you know what I mean? In order to do that, you got to look at their stats, how well they perform, so you can make an educated decision on who's the best.
But if the best player is not an offensive player, how do you justify that? Split hairs. How do you compare an offensive juggernaut and as a quarterback who's got 60 touchdowns, 4,500 yards?
He's touching ball every play.
How do you say Downs was one of the best?
So it's tough. It's a little tough. Usually the defensive players that win the Heisman go both ways.
And
they return kicks and they make tackles. I like at the stats.
I'd like to look at the statistics of Heisman winners that have contributed in the NFL. Because in my mind, I can think of a bunch that are flops. You have Manziel, you have RG3, you've got, and I'm going to throw it out now. People are going to hate me for this maybe, but Travis Hunter is a flop. He is not an NFL.
I'd make that decision.
He's not an NFL caliber player.
After 1 year, you're going to make that call?
Yes, I'm going to make that call right now because he's stuck on it. He got hurt already once.
I'm not arguing.
I don't see it.
I'm not arguing.
I don't think he's built for the NFL.
I think I would.
I'd like to see him. I'd like to see it work out for the kid because he's extremely athletic.
Yes, but I think the game is caught up to him. He might have been a difference maker in college, but
in Colorado, right?
yeah. But being in the NFL, everyone's great. For sure. I'd like to see him guard. If he wants to be the best DB, I would like to see him guard Jefferson. Chase. I'd like to see him guard these top receivers. Shut him down.
So, I mean, to be the best, you got to play the best. You gotta compete against the best. I just don't think he's had it for.
Find out for even Caleb Downs was this year. He's gone.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, he's definitely going to go.
Well, I mean, so
First round, maybe second round.
I get when you're picking somebody to go to New York to win the Heisman Trophy, you're picking somebody who makes a difference week in and week out for their team.
So should he transfer to
So you take those group of kids across the country in that group, and you got to split the hairs. Tools do you have to decide who's the best?
and how do you compare position stats? Like
That's his point.
yeah, that's what Rai was bringing up. That's hard.
But you're going to make it to New York by your performance and how much you made a difference for your team. So if it was defensive guy that made a big difference, example, I can't think of one in college, but an example in pros in the NFL, Polamalu. When Polamalu, he was making astronomical plays that a safety shouldn't be making. You've seen him. You've seen the highlights. That's the kind of thing that will get you as a college player, as a defensive player, to New York, but they still have to split hairs by using stats. And when they would take that defensive player, he's behind the 8-ball already because he's not touching the ball every play like the running back, the receivers, and the quarterbacks touching every play. The defensive guys, they're not involved in every play. That's what makes it hard. But you're going to compare him then to the other safeties in the NCAA. Is he the best? So there's ways to split hairs, but yes, when it comes down to it, you have to use stats. But it's not all about stats. That's what I'm trying to get you to understand. Not just you, everybody makes that same mistake. Oh, it's all about stats. Example, they got mad because
You can also argue big brand.
yeah.
Well, you could if you're on the right team in the East Coast, West Coast, and you're on ESPN for viewerships. But so that plays a big thing too.
Well, I had Myles Garrett. He won the most valuable defensive player of the year award 2 years ago. Not this past year, but 3 years ago. It was 3 years ago he won it. And a lot of people thought that TJ Watt should have won that year because they were so even in stats. But Myles did a little bit more, right? A little bit more in other areas, like he blocked a kick. You know what I mean? Stuff like that TJ Watt ain't do. But they based it on sacks. Well, TJ Watt had one more sack than Myles Garrett, so he should have won it. No, it's not just about stats. It's about your body of work during that year.
That's true.
And they got mad about it. And I'm like, look, it ain't like Myles Garrett voted for himself. He was voted the most valuable defensive player of the year by his peers, by the people. You know what I mean?
So you think the Heisman should be opened up to the peers?
I do not. I still like the writers behind that, but that's when you get into saying this.
So what about coaches? Like at the high school level, usually coaches put in for votes. Sometimes that gets shaded by how many people are in the region, and so
It's a very opinion based.
Yeah.
What you'd say, right?
Yeah.
So to eliminate that, let AI take over. If it's all about, if you're talking about the stats, that's who we decide they would get it better. They had a better statistic year than if go back to your topic, what you're talking about. If the Cleveland Browns defensive end, Myles Garrett, had one more sack, he had the same resume as TJ Watt. If there is more of a central vote in the opinions that Myles Garrett was the better player because he impacted his team better, he's going to win it. But if it's basically just based on stats, then
TJ Watt would have.
TJ Watt would have won.
Right, but he didn't because it was the body of work, the total body of work.
So if you change those people in that room that might have more of an opinion on TJ Watt, more favor to him, he's going to win in most likely. To eliminate that unfairness, have AI give you the deciding factor of who is the top winner.
But it's just, it seemed to be the trend of the future by AI.
Maybe, but I like having essential opinions of different minded people. That's why every day, if you get on social media, on YouTube and TikTok, you're watching shorts on people's opinions. You're watching creators. You're watching normal average Joes make these recipes, make these tricks, because it makes you feel like you're a human being as well. Where AI would take over and would just spit out, and then you wouldn't have no fight about it. It's all about statistic data driven stuff. But even so, stats can be manipulated, and I don't know. I think everybody have to. So when you create statistics, there's a lot of variables you got to bring in, right? So everybody would have to agree on those variables and all those things that would create that. But at the end of the day, you're still going to have people that are upset. You can't draw. Be so happy some of the time. It can't play on people all the time. And at the end of the day, you could argue and argue and argue. It is what it is.
I don't know how you guys look at AI, but I look at AI as having the smartest person in the entire world at your exposure. You know what I mean?
Well, you got to be careful.
Gain knowledge from.
Because it only knows what it learns. So who's learning it? Who's teaching it? You know what I mean? That's how who's entering the data.
You would hope it's the smartest people in the world. You would hope that they're getting the information.
And what I'm impressed with so far is pretty much, I haven't seen AI be wrong much. You know what I mean?
Well, I've had to be wrong.
Well, you have, but I haven't. I haven't seen it be wrong. So I'm impressed with the percentage of how many times that they're feeding you facts and they're right about.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely impressive the way it's being.
And we've never had that access before. We have a library and it goes.
You wonder how long this technology, you know how they had technologies developed and then we just hit to the government usually. And so then you think at how super rich, maybe these super rich people have been able to be successful for so long. Maybe they had some access to some things, technology that
there was some, the rest of us didn't. So they had a form of AI all along. We just didn't have the access. So then it's obvious to be on. So
well, the other thing is you could argue the general intelligence of our population is not necessarily the highest. So you don't want to just release all this information and tools to them if they don't know how to properly use it, or they're going to be detrimental to themselves or other people. So I think that they kind of release technology. I would hope so.
That's a great point, because even in schools, you guys have made regulations. I've heard where people are using AI to prepare for tests or cheat on tests or free answers on homework. Now if you write an essay, there's a software out there that will tell you if it came in Gemini or ChatGPT.
Sure, because Google,
so a teacher's able to check.
Even Google, you can open up a Google Doc. So if I signed, and they've had people come to the school and talk to the teachers and talk to us about AI and encourage us more, instead of it looking as wow, they're using it to cheat, they're more using it as a tool. Teach you how to use it as exactly what appropriately. And so you can use AI as a tool, but you don't want it to replace the cognitive thinking part. So you can, there's a way to happily use it. Now, if you talk to Maddox about it, he's concerned about the environmental impact, and he tries.
Well, they're wanting to use it.
He's trying to use less AI in his life because he sees the amount of water it takes and electricity it takes to run these big data centers. So he's concerned about the long-term impact on our environment. I feel like if we're going to have that resolution or there's some answers to those problems, it may be AI that helps us figure out how to make that a reality. The other thing is we're also maybe alternative energy is going to be coming on a lot faster. And I see,
especially with this war,
I see a lot of these things being operated by solar power now and different.
And solar panels, when they first came out, in our area, we know a lot about because of the type of people who use those. We're in a very populated Amish community. those generators that they use that can be charged and powered by a generator is impressive. But those panels,
That's what I bought.
have continuously improved. You can get a small little solar panel that you can connect to a cooler and take with you on the beach.
Yeah.
Oh, how cool is that? I can have the sun power to keep your stuff cold, just in a small little thing. So
Technology's been there. We've just never taken a day.
never taken advantage of it. And now that it's out there, yeah. And so you can
Buy in more wide.
buy solar panels, the power of your entire home nowadays, and keep your whole fridge and everything, your lights on, and rely off the sun. The sun's not going to go away. Doesn't work out. No.
How expensive is it?
It's expensive right now, but you would almost have to think that
Once it's mass produced.
once it's mass produced and then more people jump on the bandwagon and the need is more, right?
Yeah.
It's going to have, the price is going to have to come down.
And every product goes through a product cycle. So like when it first is more, everybody, super expensive, and then it starts coming down. So
I'm the one that paid $3,500 for a freaking satellite dish. That's the one. It was $3,500.
like you could hear it turn.
That was a lot of money back then for
Bucks. We'll talk about
that's probably 10,000.
we're getting way off topic, but we'll talk about the big screen that you bought.
When all that big time,
That was $3,500 too, conveniently.
And that was a 50-inch or 50.
$3,500 was the Ray was at a fair. He has damn
It
clothes.
was a 50 inch. And it was the old projection type, but it wasn't projection. But it was that kind of size of a box.
Yeah, it was a box.
It was a huge, cumbersome, half the living room size.
Such you, Jeremiah Smith's the freaking
$3,500, and now you can buy. We just bought a 70 inch for Pat for 300 and something,
Isn't they crazy?
and it's a flat screen.
And when your TV used to break, you take it down to the TV repairman. Now we take it out to the kid.
Throw in a look.
just go buy one for $200.
But now you're hanging TVs on the wall. They're no longer in a console. Of course, you guys,
Yeah, I remember when it used to be a centerpiece.
you were in there. You probably don't.
Hey, I saw ring a nice beyond something not to cat.
You remember? I gave you the big dictionary. Yeah, I'm talking about the console TV.
It used to be a piece of furniture and a TV.
New piece of furniture.
Back in grandpa.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
What is that, grandpa?
It was like a whole TV. It had cabinets and everything. It was a lot.
I have. We'll talk about later. You want to get back on track?
Yeah, we better.
Get back talking about
How's that track? Ohio State, this guy, they finalized their class. I think it was back in February 4th when the whole portal, or not the portal closed, but the whole free agency, the high school kids were able to sign. Obviously, our biggest one was Chris Henry Jr., a 5-star. Then we had a bunch of 5-stars that came through. Sincere Johnson, he's a 5-star powerhouse from Cleveland Glenville. I actually got to watch him play for Glenville. He played at Indian Valley. That dude was a beast. Yeah, he's very excited that we got him as number one player in Ohio.
Number one player in Ohio. What division?
And that's 4.
And that's something. And that hard to compete. Yeah.
We got
Teams in Cleveland like that.
We got a foot from Florida State. Jay Timmons, he's a quarterback, another 5-star, and then JJ Jacobs, he's an edge guy. He was the number 1 overall recruit in Georgia. And obviously, when you're a recruit in Georgia and you have Georgia looking at you in Miami with Miami's resume that they just had, being an edge guy and what Miami just produced, that's a big time in Larry Johnson's eyes. So Larry's just continued to get these edge guys. He's the next Bosa, next Tuamoloau, next.
I'm back at coach doing the same thing.
Yeah, we're just producing studs, and I think Ohio State's been known for the NFL factor. If you want to go to the NFL, you go to Ohio State.
We're the old Alabama.
So I don't see Ryan. I think Ryan Day being there is huge. You got to keep Ryan Day, but obviously getting the defensive coordinator, Matt Patricia, coming back. Being the most paid,
Highest paid, yeah.
and then you have Arthur Smith. It's unknown what he can do for the offense this year. Spring ball just kicked off.
First week.
So I mean that's exciting. I have the National Spring Day here. It's in April 18th. That's usually our first time to see some of the studs.
51 new faces.
It's crazy, yeah. Yeah, but they're 51 talent, be fair.
51 talent in new face. But this is like this is where they start coming together as a team.
Yeah.
This is where they start getting timing. Well, right now in April, obviously there's a lot more months of.
I see a statement today that said Ohio State has the Ohio State football team has the best roster again. It was again.
And it's about roughly 50% of transfers or freshmen.
Yeah.
Incoming freshmen. So it's half of a new team.
Look how Shane did last year.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Sane's going to have a battle with St. Clair. St. Clair's going to
He's pushing and isn't.
push for them. And they have very high hopes for St. Clair. Being an Ohio guy, and he's got the size. He almost looks like a trail player out there.
Well, I should probably Sane's last season.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, Sane would probably.
He's old enough. St. Clair was all about the age. That's why, especially Jeremiah Smith is in his junior year.
You're gonna be 2 years of college under your belt.
Yeah. We're saying was a redshirt freshman and a true freshman. I thought he was a redshirt freshman.
He was our
Jeremiah Smith wasn't.
Yep.
He was true freshman. And he's in his junior season, but he was 18 or something. It was young. He was 17 when he came to Ohio State senior year. And something about he couldn't enter the NFL until he reached a certain age. But you have to be a certain age, at least 2 years of college.
Oh, yeah. I remember Maurice Corretti.
Yeah, the dress.
He is so for all that.
Yeah.
What about the running back rate? I mean,
Bo Jackson and Isaiah West both had shoulder surgery, so they're out for the spring. So we're going to
they're on for the spring.
I think that's a problem.
Well, they're talking about this legend guy. This legend.
Yeah, I keep hearing a lot about it.
And they said, so I'm excited to get an opportunity to see him a little bit more since the other two are.
Hey, you guys want down this ring here?
No.
I haven't talked about it twice yet. I'd like to, but
Not his ass. Mattis was like,
We should go out again.
yeah. But
That was a family tradition.
I think Legend Bay is for being a running back for Ohio State right now. I think you're in a really good spot because Ohio State has done something different than they used to do. They've been playing 2, 3, 4 running backs lately. And if
that dual threat,
Leaping some fresh legs.
you unify the slot and have him run a route, I think that's
kind of straight.
valuable. And that's where they say this legend guy, Legend Bay, is very good at. They compare him to Curtis Samuel.
I heard them, he was
Kind of a devil.
we talked about he was a poor man's Treek Hill. You know, as Treek Hill did with Miami, he just was stuff everywhere and hard to beat. He could beat you on a foot race.
Yeah.
But my biggest person I want to watch is Chris Hennig Jr. There's been so much hype on him, and same thing with when Jeremiah Smith was hype.
Smell is that?
Gives you an opportunity to see that.
Any relation to Hunter and that I know cousin or anything? I mean, you kind of want.
I think it's just the same last name, probably.
Oh, he's a junior. That's what. Who's senior? That's what I want to know. But you're right. They're high on him. They've a lot of talk about it.
Yeah. So I'm excited to see that. And then the O-line, right?
Yeah, O-line.
It's the best O-line. That's what they're saying.
Continues to get better.
It's the best O-line they had in a couple of years, supposedly.
They got the right pieces, I think. Hinsman coming back was the center. Then you have the left tackle, or left guard, who was a freshman last year.
The right guard, Tegra Shabola.
Tabola's gone.
Left.
He's gone. Right? Was it their tackles that was their weak spots last year?
They had a revolving door. Wasn't their left tackle that went down? So they had to shift some offensive body around. But for the most part, they do sufficient. I mean, they went undefeated during the regular season.
Well, they have a system, and they have a standard.
You know what I mean? So
they
had to have been a decent offensive line. And just by saying it's not the best line they've had in a couple of years, you got to compare them to, okay, how bad is that?
Yeah.
And going undefeated in the regular season,
Not too bad.
you can't knock them too much now.
Ooh.
You know what I mean?
Sure. There's been a couple standouts in practice lately. Even though he's quite lower than what Chris Henry Jr., but he's been the standout the first week of practice is Jerquadin Guilford. He's a receiver.
Is he a receiver?
He was another one of those high school players that enrolled early. He's a breakout player to watch. And then you got Jake Cook. Jake Cook, he's a Westerville Northern grad. He's from Columbus. You know, he's pushing right now as a freshman to get some second team reps at center. So that's pretty big to know that you have a backer center coming that's going to be able to step in. And then you got Luke Fay. He's a California native kid. So he's that California kid that's got the long hair and blonde and can throw the ball.
Reach kid.
He's got a long arm. And he's definitely going to impress Arthur Smith. Do I feel like he's going to win the quarterback job? No. at the end of the day, Ohio State's always had that quarterback battle for a reason. They're going to put the best quarterback out there. Who do you think? But I think I'm looking forward to seeing Sand step up this year.
Sand's a critter.
Well, he's going to have it. He's going to step up because he's got that year under his belt. And it's high quality football. I mean, they went to the playoff.
Well, then let's build off that Heisman argument then. Let's say Jeremiah Smith has 1,600 yards and all the stats to get him a Heisman candidate, and who's the guy throwing the ball? Julian Sand. So we're talking about New York, and we got two guys. Who's more deserving at that point?
Very possible. Very possible.
And who's out of those two, who's more deserving?
It's just going to come down to opinions at that point because, like you pointed out, it's harder to have stats at the wide receiver that doesn't touch the ball every play,
right?
Compared to the quarterback,
who's he be folded.
But if you made the difference, I look at a quarterback as yes, you need a good one, but he's a facilitator. He gets the ball to the big players. So if Jeremiah Smith turns out to be the national leading receiver in yardage and touchdowns, even though they don't have a lot of stats, they're not high, he made a difference, and he's the best player in that position. So that's how you split hairs.
But then you also have to look at, and this is getting a little picky, is what did what did Sand do with the other receivers that he's got? Were they able to surround the ball? Was that ball spread around and be able to have?
Did he make the right decision?
If he's in New York, he obviously is making those. You can make it already. You can't be successful as a quarterback without. You can't be one dimensional. So he's gonna do just fine, I think. If he is in that conversation, he's already gonna have demonstrated that. So
I think he's got going up. He's got a year under his belt. I think he's going to be better than he was last year.
I know that's
simply because he's going to be able to make decisions, the right decision, quicker.
And that's what hurt him last year. Was hold on the missile.
Jeremiah Smith wide open and threw down to his check down or threw something underneath. Okay.
It could have been from a pre-snap read,
but it was always productive, right? And always productive.
Knowing that you're being a defensive coordinator guy, defensive guys make false reads to disguise their actual coverage, right?
Yeah. Well, you can disguise coverage, but so you can give a quarterback a pre-snap read, and then once the ball's snapped, the read can change. That's what I'm saying. That maybe he saw a pre-snap read and decided he's like, you know what, I'm gonna go to the other side of the field, or I'm gonna look for flats or whatever. So it just kind of depends, and there's a lot of variables involved.
And that's where experience comes, I think, the next year. You advance.
And the game will slow down for a little.
The game slows down. You've had another year of film watching some of the defense coordinators. And I don't know how behind the scenes works in these facilities, but there's assistant coaches for a reason. There's tons of what that watch film all day long because you break it down specific. That knows there's probably a guy out there that knows Matt Patricia's scheme better than Matt Patricia probably knows his scheme because he's watched so much film of his defense in the disguises and knows in certain systems, certain situations when you're second and long, that he's probably going to throw cover 2, cover 3, and drive the line.
They're going to study.
He's going to study those tendencies so much, and then I think another year of a quarterback seeing that you saw it, 16 games, 17 games, another 16, 17 games. By his third year, if he's still around, he's going to be like Mendoza, where Mendoza was able to step up in those certain pressures and make those throws, let the play develop.
Yeah, and it's game time experience. So that's completely, you could study all the film you want, but game time experience is invaluable. So when you're actually going through those motions of reading your check downs, and then the quality, there's little things that make Matt Patricia better. So you can scheme as much as you want, but there's only a certain parameter of schemes. There's only a certain set of defenses out there. So once you get all the X's and O's out of the way, it comes down to the little things like how hard are you pressing your reroutes? If you can get reroutes, you can take a whole side of the football field away from a quarterback. You know what I mean? Because of a good hard rerouting the slot receiver, hitting him with your outside hand on his outside shoulder, that throws the timing off. And that little bit of throwing the timing off can take away a whole side of the field for a quarterback and force him to go to this side. And so there's, but how Matt Patricia coaches up those fine details hands placements, alignments, all of those things is really where the good coordinators and the average coordinators stick out. So I would really love to see those little things. I know they have a coaches clinic right before the spring game. I think Mike Johnson and some of the Philly staff's going down, but I wouldn't mind going down again too. That was awesome.
That was fun.
Yeah, and they do a lot of where they break it out into those little pockets where we got that a lot of one-on-one time to hear those position coaches talk. I believe Butch Davis was down there talking about linebacker play.
You got to hear that year we got to hear Mike Vrabel talk. Yeah, to hear Vrabes.
And then they broke out into the small groups, and you could actually ask questions of these guys. So I don't know. I think, but that's where it really comes down to, and that's why he gets in big bucks.
Well, on this topic, though, what do you guys think of Will Howard? Now, that was 2 years ago, but what do you think of Will Howard? And this just makes a point. What do you think of, if you had one word to describe him as a quarterback at LSU, what would you?
At Ohio State, he was a winner.
It was a winner. That's what you call him, which is smart. Smart. Now, here's the fact. He came from Kansas State. He was successful there. He transferred to Ohio State because they gave him a chance to win the national championship.
Yeah.
He had to learn a new system, a new playbook, and still be successful. But what made him able to do that, he was senior, right?
Just the game time readiness was there.
As a senior, big games. So his experience was there when he came, but he still was a tough hurdle for him to come to a new college, a new system, new playbook. He learns all that. In my opinion, he wasn't dynamic by no means. He, didn't run a whole lot. They didn't need him to, but when he did run, he fell down. He lost his, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but he did have some accurate passes, but his didn't have the prettiest ball.
He could throw a long ball here.
He could throw a long ball. He didn't have the prettiest passes all the time, but he won the national championship.
Mm-hmm.
Now he's sitting on the bench at Pittsburgh, and they like him as a person and as a player, but I guess his attributes that you have to have in the NFL, he's falling short.
And I hate that because if you look at a guy like Kyler Murray, well, what made him a first round draft pick?
Dynamic.
He was dynamic, but just because you're dynamic doesn't mean you necessarily translate to the NFL world. Look at Tom Brady. Brady did not have it. That's why he got picked up in the 6th round.
Yeah. Well, in today's NFL, you don't have time to wait.
And you talk about
you don't have to wait. You don't have it's really sad because NFL teams don't have time to wait for players to develop.
Well, you could argue colleges in that direction too, because the transfer portal. So it's really hard to set a culture, set a standard, and then
I know,
maintain it and then grow those. But they're in a position where they got to win now.
Yeah, you have to win,
and so
or you're out.
Almost like the job market is. Like your future's in your hands. Your retirement is in your hands. It's no longer you're in the hands of a company you worked for 20, 30 years, and then you get retired. Like how you go about your life is way more in your hands. So I feel like the athlete today has way more personal investment into where they go and how that works out for them. So, I'd love to see Will Howard be successful because we know he can be.
Yeah, it's personal, but the point.
Yeah,
that he was successful in college, but when he got to the pros, it was another major step that he's got to take. And he's still with the Steelers. It ain't like they cut him or anything.
But I brought that up earlier when I said, look at the Heisman winners who flopped in the NFL.
Yeah. Okay. He went to New York.
So just because you're in New York and you're up there, yeah, you did. Doesn't mean that you're going to necessarily translate to NFL. No.
But I see a lot of skill that the kid had at Ohio State. I just don't understand why it doesn't convert to the NFL. I don't get it. Ooh. Is the NFL that fast?
Maybe he's in the room.
Is it the speed?
I don't know. I think there's a lot more variables involved in the NFL.
You know what I mean? Maybe he's at the wrong market.
Maybe he's just going to be a permanent backup.
And this is
where he was backup A-Rod, right?
Yeah.
So They brought in A-Rod, spent a lot of money on A-Rod.
Yeah, they're talking. They're looking for a starter.
I know, but what I'm saying is last season, if that's what they were like, all right, we put all our chips in on this guy, we got to buy it. But they have.
In the background.
And they might need him. Who knows?
That's what I'm saying. Is he going to become a permanent? What? Anyway, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to get this off.
No, this is a great time to jump to the NFL because when you talk about guys who come out of college and get signed by an NFL team and don't produce with that team, just maybe it's the wrong market. And when you look at Daniel Jones was in the Giants system. And the Giants system has been known for a failing organization for a while now. Then he goes to Indianapolis and his career relives. He just got signed a 2-year, $88 million deal to do with Indianapolis.
All the negative feedback on that.
That's huge for a guy like him.
They say he doesn't deserve it.
Maybe people don't think of it. What I'm talking about is
Not in Indianapolis.
from where he went there as where he went from as a New York Giant. His success was not well. Why was that? Because was it the guys around him or was it the market?
What about Jackson Dart?
And maybe it was a system that doesn't fit his.
That's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
So just because Will Howard is stuck behind Aaron Rodgers doesn't mean that that's the perfect organization for him. Look at Geno Smith. Geno Smith was drafted by the Jets. He didn't do anything for New York. Was it because of the system or because of the guys? He gets translated to the Raiders and has a phenomenal year or two, and then he goes to Seattle and has a phenomenal, or it might have been vice versa. But when he went to Seattle, they were competing for the NFC Championship. And I think we all agree that the quarterback is the most important position in NFL.
It is.
Your team relies on that quarterback position. You look at Malik Williams. Remember Malik was killed this time there? He just signed a 3-year, $67.5 million NBA Dolphins quarterback. Malik Williams. What did he play for Tennessee for a while? Didn't produce.
No. Well, he went to Green Bay and looked pretty good. Different system.
All about the system.
So you might be you're onto something there. That could be.
Look at Darnold.
Oh, and I'm so happy.
Long had a failing year when he was with the Caribbean.
Seeing ghosts. Remember that? He was seeing ghosts, and they made a big thing out of that.
The internet's brutal, man. NFL's.
He's just being honest.
Yeah.
Yeah, I see a lot of funny stuff on my Instagram feeds.
What? Alex Wright was drafted by the Cleveland Browns, I believe, 4 years ago. And it took him to his third year. Yeah, because this will be his because his contract. So anyway, they drafted him. He didn't really pan out the first year. His second year, he improved. He was making some sacks, looking better on the field when he got the opportunity to get in there. And then, so they developed this kid. And now, last year, he was well respected around the league.
Yeah.
And so we're expecting even more out of Alex Wright this year, which can really help Myles Garrett more. Can you imagine that? Can you imagine?
Yeah.
I mean, that's why they were talking about getting Max Crosby.
Yeah, that's a great point. What is the secret? What is the hidden fact that is not coming out about Max Crosby?
I don't know. Let's pause. Let's ask Danielle. Oh, okay. There's a time together. We'll take a quick break on Danielle's Daily Dose, and we're going to come back to what is the secret. Danielle, what do you got for us today?
Hello. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another faith inspirational story this morning. We are going to talk about a basketball player from Oklahoma City Thunder basketball team. This player, his name is Nikola Topic. He said this statement, "For it is by grace you have been saved through faith, and this is not from yourself. It is the gift of God." Isn't that cool? So this Nikola guy, he missed the 24-25 season due to an injury. And what happened is he tore his ACL. But he still got to celebrate the championship with his team. and he got to ride in the parade with the team. His teammates did all the work and got to share in the victory with his teammates and got credited to him. Now, for those of us who think that doesn't seem right or fair, think about this. Jesus Christ lived a perfect life. He died on the cross and resurrected 3 days later. Jesus did all the work. God giving to us to what we don't deserve. For it is by grace you have been saved through faith. And this is not from yourself. It is the gift of God. That's all for today. Back to you, Jason and Ryan.
That was awesome, Danielle. Thank you so much. I can't say enough about how much sunshine you bring into our studio. It's even coming right on my shoulder right there. We appreciate it. We love you, Danielle. And I know our fans do too. So before we took that break, Ryan kind of hooked us in a little bit of a Max Crosby conversation where he said, what is the secret? So what is the secret, fellas, with the whole defensive strategy?
It's I don't know if it's his report that came back because he did just come off an injury. The Bengals, but the Ravens didn't like. Is there something behind the scenes that they didn't like him as a person? Did he not fit their culture? Did he not fit what the Ravens were trying to build off of?
Talk about the truth.
What do you think the truth? What is the truth? What's the secret?
What's the secret?
Yeah. What was this?
First of all, if the Ravens would have completed the transaction with acquiring Max Crosby in a trade, they were giving up 2 first-round draft picks. 2 first-round draft picks. When Henderson came available and they started talking to him, he's a free agent. So he ain't requiring 2 first-round picks. So they canceled that trade with the one for Max Crosby to take the free agent.
You don't subscribe.
I think that was an excuse. It was able to get them out of the deal legal.
Okay. I also heard that they were potentially thinking of both.
But they knew cutting into this, and they knew that he just had knee surgery.
Yeah.
So they were aware of his knee condition.
Yeah. You don't get that far in the paperwork.
And then so he has to do a physical with his own team. Okay. That paperwork gets transferred. And then the new team takes their own doctor for another review.
Mm-hmm.
So that was just an excuse. Sure, this is my opinion only. Let's think about it. Would I want to give up 2 first-round picks when I can get Trey Henderson and give up nothing?
Yeah.
And maybe he's not quite Max Crosby, but he's really good.
What?
You know what I'm saying? And the only legal way they got out of the trade was to come out and say, well, he didn't pass the physical. So that's the truth. That's my opinion. I don't have evidence, but I have the facts in front of me.
I thought I saw an article where they even argued that they consider taking both of them or having both of them.
Well, it's probably the response.
You say it's just nightmares.
I think it was the response. They didn't want to give up 2 first-round picks if they didn't have to. They were willing to do it, and then all of a sudden, wait, Trey.
So the Bengals made a mistake.
The Bengals made it.
So they let him walk. That was a mistake.
Yes, because now they got to draft him. Now they got another opening.
Unless that was their...
On top, you're talking about the Bengals only. On top, Joe Burrow's not happy.
I think the Bengals are kind of treading downhill.
He's not happy with the coaching.
They hit playoff run. They went to the Super Bowl, right? Competed for a Super Bowl. Joe Burrow's been battling through injuries. The team has just been a joke on the defensive side from what Joe Geckler tells us all the time. You know, he was in here last year. It's a mistake to let a guy like that go.
The Bengals think that they can outscore everybody, so they don't need to really put much money in their defense.
So what does that do to Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase? Does that put more pressure on that offensive side to...
Yeah, because if your defense ain't stopping the offense, you're in trouble. You're going to have to put up more points to win.
So all you fantasy lovers out there, focus on the Bengals offense this year because they're going to be on the field a lot. They're
going to have to put up a lot of points.
Yeah, especially if you're in the league with me. Go ahead and draft Joe Burrow.
Let's talk about the Browns reset. The Browns reset era where they're letting a lot of their offensive line guys go who were veterans. Who were veterans.
It just happened all at once. They didn't have any tackles to begin with. They were all injured all the time. I said Conklin's been, the last 5 years, has been injured every year. So it's like, dude, come on, man. You know? And it's like, we're paying you this money to be a starter, not on injury reserve.
Right.
And so it was his time for him to go. Wyatt Teller was a little bit of a surprise. On his background, he come from Texas, right? He's a Texas boy. And he's downright me. Very good guard. Okay. Mm-hmm. But with the system that he's in and the other linemen around him, it was hard to be cohesive because the whole line, Ethan Posick, the center, went down. And we got him from Seattle. I think he was a free agent. We got him from Seattle and put him in as a starter. And he's been injured every season. And our tackle, like the left tackle, is from Ohio State, Bill Bucks. He's troubled. Well, he's a big man. Yes. And he actually was a right tackle that they converted to left. So he had to learn the position. I mean, it's a different drop back and everything. Not that he wasn't capable. I thought he had great promise. Injured, out for the season. So how do you judge the offensive line? But it was time to make the changes. Joe Patonio.
He's the longest tenured Browns.
12 years.
He's officially a free agent, and
that's because the Browns aren't interested in re-signing him.
It's unlikely he will come back.
But the truth is, the man couldn't hardly walk at the end of the season last year. Yeah. He was hobbling because he's had so many. He doesn't miss plays. He don't take play off, but he's had a lot of mileage on the knees, and I feel bad for him. I wish that they would sign him so he could retire. But he's not if he's going to play, he's not going to accept setting as a backup. He wants to be started, but he feels that he rightly deserves. Mm-hmm. So I look for him to retire. I don't look for him to go anywhere.
What about, and we talked a little about off air about the release of David Njoku. He was the focal point of that Browns offense for a very long time. Finally let him go. I think it's because of the rookie tight end that is stating that he feels like, the injuries kind of cut out to him. He can't hardly move as much as he used to. Again, that's one of those long tenure Browns players who at success
was there 2 contracts.
Was a well-loved player in the Cleveland organization, in the fan system. He's finally let go. And then you look at Devin Bush. They let Devin Bush go to the...
Well, he could have hired somebody else.
He signed with Chicago for 3 years.
He was a free agent, and the Browns didn't tender him or anything.
Does that have a lot to do with...
They would have brought it.
Because of Swishinger at the linebacker, the way he stepped up?
Sure.
Or is it more they have what we hope for is Ohio State linebacker in the draft who increased his stock? Is that one of their highlights they're going to hit on in the draft this year?
Well, we got him from Pittsburgh, and prior to Bush, I'll talk about Del Bush. Prior to that, wasn't he drafted by the New England Patriots or somebody? He was drafted by another team and he didn't make it on that team. So then he went to Pittsburgh Steelers and let him go. And you're talking a defensive-minded team in Pittsburgh. So if they're letting him go, that says something. Well, then when he came to Cleveland, but keep in mind, he's from Michigan. He's from Detroit. He's closer to home here in Cleveland, right? Mm-hmm. He changed. He got better. He improved. He wasn't dependent on it as much because you had Swartzy. Mm-hmm. And I just think that he had an extremely good year and he took advantage of it and got paid tons more money by another team that the Browns weren't willing to spend that kind of money.
That's a very good point. Well, why not trying to trade? Why not trying to...
Well, then you'd had to re-sign him and then try to trade him. They should have tried to trade him last year. But his stock wasn't that great last year, dude. I mean, you know what I mean? He came into the Browns as not such a good player.
Yeah. No, I get that. I agree.
And otherwise, Pittsburgh Steelers would have hung on to it. because they're dying for good linebackers. That's one of Pittsburgh's weaknesses, their linebackers. Excluding the linebackers that they call that they don't call defensive ends.
Well, the Browns linebackers room's pretty solid, right? Because they got switching Williams for the Jets. Yeah, they ran the. Yeah, we just signed it. We'll give the year.
That was awesome. An awesome pickup. The thing that's discouraging about the linebacking core is that it came out that JOK will probably never play the down football period. As that. That's sad because he was dynamic. He could have been a star in the NFL. And but according to him, he's looking for another doctor. That was news to him because his tweet right after that came out. The Browns came out with the Browns. He came out and said, "Well, that's news to me that he wasn't going to be able to play."
Wow.
So that's him. And as a player, in your mind, you can still play when there's a great possibility that maybe you should hang it up, because if you take another neck injury, maybe you paralyze the rest of your life. So that's what's going on there in the linebacking room. But we're solid. We're okay.
Yeah, that Quincy Williams renewal. Yes, that's huge in addition.
Well, what else? What else you want to talk about?
What about so who are they taking in the draft? So they got a draft pick number 6 and number 24. If you're the Cleveland Browns, you're Andrew Berry. Are you going for Carnell Tate at number 6 if he's there?
I think so.
I think that's their need. That's their biggest need.
Their biggest need right now is wide receiver.
Okay.
And quarterback. Don't be surprised if you don't see number 4 behind center, bud. Yes, I do believe that number 4 will be your starting quarterback in Cleveland at the beginning of the season. I will say I'm glad they restructured, and they're going to run the ball. They plan on running like him. In fact, you see videos of him doing running back drills. What's that tell you?
I don't know how long this season's going to last.
Everybody counts him out. I'm not.
Well, it'd be great for Cleveland. I think the story is, but I also think that
I want you to end his story around.
I think the ownership, that would be beautiful. If he could write the shit on his way out. But I also think the ownership in Cleveland is completely okay with tanking for another season, like we talked about.
Yeah, I do believe that too. But I don't be surprised number 4 don't play quarterback.
Deshaun Watson
started to resign his cup. They restructured his job, which means and he'll going to be out here for a couple more years.
So if they're paying him, why not use him? And then if I could get one good season out of him, I might be able to trade him. He gets something.
It's possible. And he could rewrite the ship, give him a new chance,
Yeah. That would be their biggest. What would you say?
But how's prime time going to take that?
Well, I think he's got some skill.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
but he has to wait to see 2024, right?
Who, Watson? Mm-hmm. Yeah, he has to play for a while, but it's like Brian Blake. You ain't never forget on paperwork. But
I mean,
you're going to have to get back into the swing.
He looked like he forgot it when he came out that one game and couldn't throw the ball. I think Browns fans are going to come unglued.
I think
they see him recorded.
No, I think he had mental issues for a while, and I can't blame him. He went through some real bad stuff, and then you had your nasty fans.
Oh yeah,
have no compassion for anybody. I'm on the other side. I wish him the best. I hope
it'd be cool.
I hope he killed right. Are you ready? The story?
Yeah. I mean, I personally think you give, if you can put the right pieces together, I think their biggest need is the offensive tackle. I think if you let go of 3 of your veterans, your long-term guys that you had, I think that's your biggest need is offensive tackle at number 6. And then I like to see them take Amari Cooper Jr. from Indiana at number 24. I think you get a top receiver who pruned himself in the college playoffs, especially in the Josh Championship game. Take that offensive tackle at number 1, take that number second tier receiver at number 2 is how I think it'd be their best look. But it is hard to give up a Carnell Tate at number 6 as well.
Keep your eye on free agents.
Now, there's a receiver called by the name of Jordan Tyson out of Arizona State. His brother plays for the Cavs. That'd be cool if they took him if he's there 24. That'd be cool. Because then you'd have the Tyson brothers in Cleveland. One play for Cavs, one play for the Browns.
So I believe that Tyler Decker's his contract's up in Detroit.
And I love that you brought that up as far as look out for the receivers. Free agency has been nuts right now. And you talked about DJ Moore just left. He was a big contract signed for the Bills. I think that improves Josh Allen's weapons. You look at Mike Evans. Mike Evans is just signed a 3-year. He was in one of those receivers that was on the top board. You had Alec Pierce. He signed his contract back with the Colts. So a lot of these free agency top receivers have gotten signed. Now, Stephon Diggs just got released not too. He's a free agent out there.
He's a free agent.
A.J. Brown is so rumored to be good or free agent, or he's going to be out there. But I think the biggest drama right now I was super shocked when it came across my phone is Kenneth Walker getting signed by Kansas City. Why do we need Kansas City to have another weapon?
Why in Seattle let him go out of the room?
Dumb.
Yeah, not good.
I mean, we don't have their financials either, so I don't know. Maybe he would ask one too much.
But he was a Super Bowl. He just took over the Super Bowl, and you only can't sign him? The only reason you won that game is because of him?
Maybe he wasn't happy.
No, I can't take that back. I'm sorry. The defense was legit. Seattle's probably his defense was legit.
Their defense is legit again.
He gave Drake May all kinds of problems. Drake May could not get the ball off. He could have did nothing.
So I really like the idea of the Sam Brown rewrite his story. So that they should make a movie about it.
Yeah.
Or a break. Somebody should write a book.
Zeke loves the way he rubbed his belly.
Oh, watch what he does.
He's looking.
I quit.
He was just looking at me like, oh,
Watch.
like Jake, and
He'll get it two together and he'll look like a squirrel. He'll do that.
yes.
Well, then that's telling me that he wants his belly broke.
He rubbing my belly.
But maybe the Browns keep doing what they're doing. They keep having success in the draft. The last year definitely was a success. Myles Garrett was a success years ago. So maybe
He's the best.
maybe Andrew Harry and then have something up their sleeves. They have this plan. I'm telling you, if they get an offensive top one and get a top 2 running back or receiver like Cooper, that's 2 great picks right there.
They may continue to work off the defensive side of the ball in the draft.
That's a possibility too. And there's a couple of Buckeyes out there.
And it's still, they could work defense even though they need receivers. They could still use free agency for now. And then next year get the quarterback receiver combination.
It would be interesting to see. I'm just hoping for the best for the dog pound. That is for sure. I'm ready for some success. That'd be nice.
What do we think their projection is this year?
The only thing I didn't like for June Swartz was
That's crazy.
More than 4 wins?
they're projected 7.
7.
Still 2 more wins than they had last year. They had 5 last season.
Outside of
You realize that, right? They won 5 games last year.
Oh, yeah.
but they were in a bunch of games though too.
They were holding on to 8 games in 2 years. So that's not good. So that's why Monken's there. And
Yeah.
So, but or do you pass up a guy like Sonny Styles and the resume he just had in the rare?
that's a linebacker we don't need.
Then you have Caleb Downs, Cardinal Tate,
Kalen Down should have been first bet.
and Reese. Reese is not even going to be.
Or if you think he'd get into 23, I don't think Caleb Downs will be there that long.
So another great thing about March Madness, about March, is pro days. Pro days are coming up. You got the top colleges starting on March 18th, and it just keeps going on and on. So it's one of my favorite. I think it's one of my favorite things. Pro day. This is because you can actually watch the players be in their elements. Back to the schools, relying on the receivers or the quarterbacks to throw it to them. They're in their environment. They're able to showcase who they actually are. So I really think this is a great time for coaches who are really interested teams to kind of pinpoint what they want to look for. And this is pro days are perfect. They skip the combine for a reason because they feel that pro days are more important because they have not 32 teams looking at you. You might have 10 who are actually serious about drafting you. So I really like that. So pro days are coming up. Keep that in mind. The Buckeyes is March 25th. And you got 3 key players. Obviously, Cardinal Tate, Caleb Downs, and Sonny Styles are all going to be there. But you also have McDonald that's going to be there.
And all 32 teams, NFL teams will be there.
Most likely, a lot of these teams, Ohio State, Alabama, and Tech, usually all. Notre Dame, LSU, Penn State, and Georgia, you're going to have all teams there. You're going to have those big-time guys. But Sonny Styles had
Maybe get press bats.
a historic combo. The scouts want to see him in the pro day because I think Sonny Styles is probably going to be one of the top guys that his draft stock grows. From his speed all the way to 40, his vertical, he jumped up. This dude is under the radar from what all the NFL coaches are speaking of. When you had a guy like Harvell Reese, who is
He's hot.
Alvaro Reese is doing me a top 4 pick. There's no
That's crazy.
I mean, he 1 year really did his 1 season submitted himself into that. Now you have Sonny Styles, who's another Buckeye. You have Cardinal Tate, who's a top 7, 8 pick probably. You have you have Gil Downs, who's a top safety. It makes the younger guys excited. So it gives them an opportunity when pro day comes. You're like, dang, this is pro day. This is what the NFL scouts are coming and look at. These are the guys that are looked at. I want to be like that. So it's just
Just like Arvell Reese's story, though.
another reason to go to Ohio State.
I mean, you're talking, he was sitting behind other players. And that's the thing about Ohio State's riches is you bring on somebody that is not a start. He hasn't been the main starter. He's been on the, backup basically. And then he comes on the scene and performs like he does. What's that say?
That says they know what they're doing when they recruit you. That is for sure.
Guess who recruits linebacker?
They have certain characteristics that they look for and fit into their program and their standard, and that's exactly what they do. They just keep reproducing.
It's a gross wealth they have down there. And they're just so talented. Yeah. But back to the Browns, I personally think that they're going to tank again.
Okay.
Because guess who comes out next year?
Yeah.
Arch Manning. And the owner would really love to be able to draft him in particular because the Cleveland Browns have been searching for that franchise quarterback for years. And the first round draft picks haven't paid down, so this kid here is almost guaranteed to be successful.
So you're writing it right now that he's going to be a first round pick.
Oh, yeah, he's going to be first pick, first round next year. Just because of the family. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But it'll be interesting to see, definitely. I think he's got a lot to prove this season, though, too.
We'll see. I mean, if Andrew Berry has another successful draft and they still tank or still lose a lot of games, it's on purpose.
But yeah.
Because they actually have compiled a lot of talent on the defensive side of the ball for sure.
Yeah.
And now they got a couple running backs that are pretty decent. They lack wide receivers.
That's really what seems like.
They've improved their line 100%, I do believe.
Who had a running back?
Huh?
We had Jenkins.
That's what I'm saying. The running backs are good.
Yeah.
We need receivers and a quarterback. Just at least to either step up or they need to find another mix. They don't they? And, but the tight end position's good, solid.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? And so I don't think our offense is that far off. We just need that two key pieces, and that's a dominant number one wide receiver in the NFL and that guy quarterback. And we've been unsuccessful.
Year after year after year. My boss, Jeff's got to say it's almost always, we always win. You don't have something always on the yeah, and it's true. And rounds are almost always almost there.
They've improved though. That's all I'm gonna say to you. They've made some very key draft hits. Some very key people are on that team. I think the trade they made with Newsom was a great trade. That what's his name? The guy they got from the Jaguars as a defensive back. What's his name? I'm terrible with names now. But he panned out to be really, really good. Much better than Newsom at coverages. And so that was a key pickup. Now in your secondary, you got Ward on one side and him on the other side. And then you got safeties that are good. Ronnie Hickman. He was a diamond in the rough. And then you got
I don't think the Browns defense is a question at all. I think
no, not at all.
they're going to be solid again.
Even so, why would you tender Ronnie Hickman as a safety and then go out and get Caleb Downs when you already got not just him, but you got, what's his name? What's the other one?
I was looking here, but for some reason,
That's,
the Wi-Fi is slow. Somebody's playing a video game inside.
I mean, I should know this. He's not a Kyle Hamilton type. Caleb Downs is, I'm sure. So, I mean, yes, if you did draft him, you got a guaranteed successful player. But it's that safety position that you're already very good at. I mean, they got, who's the other player they got? They got him from, I know where he came from. He came from LSU.
That's from the Greg Newsome.
No, the Greg Newsome name I'm looking for too, but their safety.
Not Johnson, right?
No.
Tyson Campbell, is that the corner?
Tyson Campbell is the corner.
That they got for our Newsome, right?
Yeah. But who's their safeties? You got the. He's probably a top 20 player. He's probably a top 20 safety for sure. Once you figure out his name, you'll say, yeah, you're right.
Apparently, I won it off dialogue.
Well, AI is taking up a lot of.
Yeah, it's killed the environment. This was fun. I think we got a lot of topics covered this morning. I think I'm still looking here, so since we find the Browns Seahawks, but anytime we can get together and talk and see Zeke.
Yeah, I thought I'd bring a mascot back, and then Danielle.
It was good to see Zeke.
Daily dose.
Good to have Danielle's daily dose, be able to have a little bit of banter, and now it's off to NCAA March Madness, right? What do you got? You got a dance up going on the door?
Not yet.
I'm Sarah going to the draft.
Draft is a possibility, hopefully.
Yeah, that would be fantastic.
While you guys are looking that up, if you guys want to write it down, March 25th, you can watch it on NFL Plus, or you can watch it on Peacock at Ohio State Pro Day, as well as Alabama. Those are going to be two pretty important, fun pro days that everyone will watch. So make sure you tune in March 25th on NFL Plus and on Peacock.
Right, Delpit.
There.
Delpit. He's from top 20 safety. I mean, he's really good. He's good. I think, and he's young, and I mean, he's on his second contract now. He's an actual player they drafted. So people can stop saying that the Browns don't know how to draft. They draft Andrew Berry's made some nice picks. What's the guy before him? It was
The Track Hunter trade? Oh, you're talking about
general manager.
the guy from the Chiefs?
He came from the Chiefs. He was very successful at being a general manager.
Yeah, wore khaki pants and
Yeah. So he did well to draft. The only thing the Browns have struggled at is getting that quarterback.
and did he draft Baker?
He drafted Baker.
Yeah.
Yeah. But make sure you tune in. I think we're gonna
Hit that like and subscribe button.
we're probably gonna have a family bracket like we used to do. Okay. We always do on Danielle was forwarded to it. Make sure you tune in to see whose bracket got busted. And whose bracket's still alive, and who has I got my ultimate.
It's getting busted right away.
But it's going to be a fun year in March Madness. It should be some good basketball. A lot of those.
I hope Miami of Ohio gets into with that record-breaking season 30-1.
But we are very blessed to have sports. It gives us something to talk about, and it brings people together.
It does, man.
So it's a blessing.
Just like the MacCast.
So that's right.
Just like the MacCast. Hey, big thanks to you guys. You have a great weekend.
You tune and subscribe.
See you soon.
See ya.
People identify who did it.
So why don't you tell us a little bit more, Ross?
Yeah, and usually, I
got my Uncle Dan coming in at 11:30 with his big old truck. Dad'll talk a little bit more about it.
Wound up. Oh, wait. Almost not load.
It sharpens iron.
Yep.
Yeah.
3, look at that deal. 3, 2, 1. Guys, welcome back to the